You are now tuned in to the Soul Revival podcast, your weekly dose of soulspiration, where women who are yearning to find the courage to transform their lives after trauma gather to share their real experiences, candid lessons, hard-won triumphs, wisdom, and inspiration. I'm your host, Dr. Yemi MD, board-certified cardiac anesthesiologist who has made it her mission to teach women in the pursuit of passion-driven purpose, the art of healing their own heartbeats. Through raw conversations and in-depth explorations, we are peeling back the layers and gaining clarity about what an inspired life looks and feels like. So grab your journal, a cup of tea, and step into your personal ER and learn from the ones who have been where you've been and are now living their best lives. Choose yourself and save your life. Soul-Inspired Living starts now. Welcome all of you guys to the Soul Revival podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Dr. Yemi, integrative mindset strategist and founder of the Soul Revival, where I help women transform by providing them the tools to heal their hearts and walk in their passion-driven purpose. And like I said, I am so honored to have Dr. Ona Utuama on the Soul Revival podcast tonight. She is a family medicine physician as well as a hospitalist. She's a health researcher, public health researcher, and published author. She also mentors public health students and connects physicians locally and internationally. And the reason why we are here tonight, the creative mind and founder behind the hottest eyewear to hit the market this summer, TribalEyes, where she founded that company this summer. Wait till you guys hear what she has done since launching this summer. It's an e-commerce eyewear line of neutral ethnic designs and patterns. Welcome, Dr. Utuama. Thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So one of the things that I love to do is I like to tell people how we know each other, when we got to know each other. And so oftentimes, because I throw no messages away, if you have ever messaged me in the history of Messenger, I have the message and I can go back and I can look at when we first exchanged communication.
Really?
Oh, yes. So we first got together on June 4th, 2019. Wow. And I can't actually see what you were responding to because it was just like, you just said word. So I must have said something in a story that you were responding to back then. And it was just a word. And so I was just like, oh, okay. Hi, Dr. Ona. And we've kind of been messaging back and forth ever since then. But really, where you really was just like, oh, goodness. I was just like, I noticed what you were doing, what you had going on. But before we get to how you are the face behind the brand TribalEyes, I actually want to do this thing that I love doing with my guests and just ask them kind of like random grab bag questions.
Embarrassing.
Yes. I try not to make them too embarrassing. What piqued my interest, a few things came to mind where you're like, I have only boys. So there are certain things that boys do. And what I found that is boys never actually really grow up, right? They have these things that they do and they still do them when they get to be grown adults. Like I didn't grow up with boys. I didn't grow up with boy cousins, brothers, nothing like that. And so when I had boys, it was just like, okay, you're sitting there, they're quiet and you expect them to just be doing their thing quietly, right? And all of a sudden they turn into the Tasmanian devil and they just break stuff and it's soccer in the house and things are broken. And it's just like, what in the world happened? And you turn around and it's actually their dad. That put together the soccer game that broke your favorite lamp in the living room, right? Is that your experience with boys as well?
Oh my God. I grew up with boys, but it's different when you're in charge of them. Yeah, the Tasmanian devil, I think, is a right phrase to use for them. And my husband, on the other hand, is quiet.
Oh, really?
But he used to be very restless. And he tells everyone, and his older uncles will say that he used to be so restless. When you're so restless as a young child, you burn out, like you have no more energy in your adult life. My husband doesn't want to go out. He doesn't want, don't disturb him, just let him be. So because he had that history, he lives his life. He's like, why are you concerned? This is how boys behave. I'm like, this is not normal.
It isn't. It really isn't normal.
They're not normal.
They never change. They never change.
And the funny thing is, like, so he doesn't like cause chaos, but he's more, he doesn't cause chaos mostly because he lives in his own world. But he won't clean up after himself. So, I mean, he's worse than the children because I can scream at the children, but I cannot with him. So, I mean, it's going to be a long road, but I think that what I have learned to do, I just zone out. Like, I just go into this, keep your mess in your space, don't come my way. And then I just wake up and I'm like, I need this house to be like this, like this, like that. Otherwise, you will not go to school tomorrow. And I mean it. Or no one will eat. And nobody knows how to. You will now see them. So I'm like, you guys can clean this. I'm serious. I would change. I mean, I will turn into like maybe, I don't know what they see, but I know in my heart that I'm burning like fire. And they know. And they will clean the entire house, like spick and span. I'm like, so you guys are normal, actually.
So they're normal. But why as parents does it take us, them seeing the red in our eyes and hearing our voices change to make them do that? So when you get your boys in line and you finally find that you have a moment to yourself, like what's the last book that you read?
The last book that I read will be Polusilo. Hippie.
Oh, what was that about?
It's really just about the hippie movement in maybe the 1950s or 1960s.
Oh, so truly hippie.
Yeah, like truly hippie. There was a movement, and he was part of that movement.
Okay.
It's really that. Just people who wake up and just start moving. No, this is where we're going. We're just taking a bus to Brazil. Or we're going to Arizona because there are a group of people there who understand the way we think about life, and we're just going to live freely. There's no attachment. There's no, just craziness. I love Paulo Coelho, so it was one of his books I hadn't read.
Okay. Oh, but I'm gonna put a thumbtack in that thought, and we're gonna come back to that thought once we start talking about the brand a little bit. Okay. But first of all, before we get into the brand, like tell who is Dr. Ona? Tell me who you are.
I will say that I am an energizer bunny. I really am. I am extroverted and I like to make noise. However, and really, I am a work hard, play hard person. When I'm at work, I'm so serious. In certain spaces, I'm serious. And then I switch into this play mode. And I think sometimes people misunderstand because they think you're stuck up or you're not rude. But when I'm taking care of my patients, we're not going to be laughing about an error that you made. I'm going to be very serious. And I'm going to say it as bluntly as possible. It gets me in trouble. Or it has gotten me in trouble. But I think some things are very important. I don't really believe in political correctness, so that's a problem. But again, that's who I am. I work hard and I play hard. I'm an energizer bunny. I love to travel and I like to make noise.
All right. The pandemic has really limited travel for a lot of people. So where was the last place that you got to travel for pleasure?
Oh my God, Las Vegas.
Vegas
in February.
And what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But let a little bit of Vegas out for us. So what'd you go to do?
What did I go to do?
Yeah.
It was a girls' trip.
Oh, nice.
I know. The best kind. Honestly, I almost did not go because I was to go to Singapore for my 40th. So I turned 40 last year.
Right.
And like a decent mother, I would say. I don't even know now anymore. But anyway, I was like, well, my birthday is November. And it was kind of complicated to do it then. I wanted it to be in the summer where I could travel and just do what I want. It was going to be like a girls type trip in Singapore. So anyway, we kind of decided I would celebrate in the summer of this year, right? Since it was last year. And then, so anyway, in January or February, this they're doctors, really. I met them on another doctor group. Really interesting females who, again, I work hard and I play hard. I feel that as women in general, and then professional women, we always feel like we need to take permission or you shouldn't enjoy yourself. So anyway, we do organize like trips, not LA, but different locations, and then we would go there. So Vegas came in February. I think it was end of January, early February. And a thought came to my mind. I'm like, I don't want to water down Singapore. Maybe I should wait and not go. And then last minute, I'm like, life is too short. Let me go hang out with my girls.
Life really is too short, though.
Oh, my God.
And I was going to ask you about that because I do happen to know you very recently celebrated your birthday, and you happen to be born in the same month where we celebrate a holiday, regardless of whether you call it Thanksgiving or a different name for it. Most of us can agree, though, that it has become a day where we reflect and we give thanks. So in this month where we're giving thanks, what would you say you're most thankful for this birthday?
The breath of life for self and the breath of life for family. I mean, just seeing patients. I've been taking care of COVID patients since February, and it's exhausting and soul-sucking to just see them gasp for air. And you see that life is not really in your life is not in your hand.
Right.
In the hands of the people who will either not wear a mask or policies or whatever it may be. But we have no control over the pandemic. It came upon us and one feels helpless, like you don't know when it will be your turn. Right. So for me, this Thanksgiving, this month and this year, it's really the breath of life.
Amen to that. Would you say that there's anything that you thinking about while being grateful for the breath of life, but thinking about how serious this pandemic is, anything that you've put off or held off on, or if anything, has the pandemic made you more likely to pursue those things that you normally would have put on pause?
I would say risk-taking. I'm usually a plan A, B, C, D, E, F person. But what's the worst thing that could happen? At least you tried.
That's right.
Like failed or not.
Exactly. And that famous quote by Wayne Gretzky comes to mind, where you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
And so I often tell this story about when the pandemic came, one of the things that I didn't do is I've always wanted to be an astronaut. I thought I was going to be the next Dr. Mae Jameson. And the NASA had a call for applications this past year in 2020. And because I actually at one point thought that this particular virus, my job, it was the first time that I actually had the thought that my job could actually kill me. Here I am deep in the airways, the most infectious part of a patient with this particular virus, if you will. And I actually thought I made arrangements when we didn't know what was going to happen. And we were seeing the amount of physicians and healthcare workers that were passing away in China and in Italy. And I just knew that there was something, this was major, and made arrangements. And so I actually didn't apply to NASA's call for applications for astronauts this past year because I just thought, I'm going to be too dead. I'm going to be too dead to be an astronaut. And so I actually let that opportunity pass me right by because of the pandemic. And then I logged on, and what's interesting is they had 12,000 applicants, 12,000 people didn't think, okay, I'm going to be too dead to be an astronaut. So 12,000 people still went and applied. And I always use that example to say, never let the fact that we're in a pandemic stop you from pursuing your passion, from pursuing your passion-driven purpose, from pursuing that next level, from chasing that big part of your dream. Yeah. Even though there is this life-changing event that's going on, it definitely should not cause us to put anything that we are pursuing on pause. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so proud and excited about TribalEyes, because you launched this summer. This is not a brand that existed last year. This is not something that you had in the pipeline and just ready to go. You launched this summer at the height of a pandemic. And I think that is that is pure royalty to just be like, okay, I'm not going to let this hold me back. I'm going to pursue this. And so tell me about when this idea came to you, why you started this, why TribalEyes, how you came upon this name, and of course these fabulous designs. If you guys have not figured out, if you've seen her beautiful face and what she has on, I want that pair, by the way. No, I'm like, it's on pre-order now. If you guys go to her website, which we'll be putting up her website at the end of the broadcast for sure, but that particular pair that she has on, I've had my eyes on, and it's pre-order. I'm going to get it the first it's available. This is also her design as well. I have more than one pair because like I said, this is one of the hottest eyewears, if you will, or hottest glasses to grace my face in 2020. So tell us about TribalEyes.
Okay, before I go into that, I'll quickly say that the one that you're wearing will be delivered to customers by Christmas, in case people are interested in pre-ordering. But
okay, and what's the name of this one?
Kente Aura.
Kente Aura, yes. They are super fabulous. These glasses are so hot. I tell you, I have worn them, so I've worn them sparingly. Okay. Because I want people to just feel the exclusivity associated with them. So I wore them to work one day, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Dr. O." I was like, "Yes, honey. I'm serving Kente today." So
oh my goodness. So TribalEyes. I mean, I'm blown away too. Just so that I didn't even see this coming. However, no. I believe strongly in God, and I have come of age where I have a certain level of self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And I think those things are important. But TribalEyes, I've always been entrepreneurial. My dad is an entrepreneur. And I think I always saw myself doing like big things, like big contracts and big God knows what. But in the morning, so I was between contract as a hospitalist. I had moved from one state to another. And I had maybe 8 weeks. And one morning, I just woke up and I told my husband, "What do you think about an eyewear brand?" And I said something tribal or ethnic. Now, as a person from Africa, I think that we're very, very large in terms of our scope of consumption. We consume and import and import. And the pandemic showed that, because when the pandemic hit, we couldn't get anything across. Mm. Now, I say that because most of the things that we use growing up and up until now are imported goods.
Right.
Over time, with Black Lives Matter recently and many other things, you see some of the inclusion of just Black people. But it goes beyond that. I think that the brands that we wear and that we patronize should actually reflect our culture.
Absolutely.
Some brands are beginning to do that, and I don't think I'm answering your question, but some brands are beginning to do that. Like recently, I think Christian Dior last year, the material was like, not kente, but like the African Ankara material. Mm-hmm. And all I could think was, oh my goodness, this is our Ankara material that is being sold for $5,000 for a dress. It's our Ankara material.
Right.
And then I will go swipe my card. Well, for me, TribalEyes really started because I noticed that there was deficiency in fashion in general, but in eyewear, nobody had really done it.
Right.
Nobody had done it. So I said to my husband, who I bounce a lot of ideas at, poor guy. Because some I'll say, and he's like, that's ridiculous. Like, seriously. I'm like, just say yes or no, please. Why are you not being supportive?
Are you paying him consultancy fee?
I know. Well, yes. Did you hear that I had 3 boys, including 4? Yeah, those are my consultancy fees. They are all alive and well. They have not died of food poisoning that I cooked. So that was really it. I woke up one morning, really thought, wouldn't it be good to have glasses that are ethnic, that represent our culture?
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And the names came, tribal, I think ethnic, cultural, we threw words around, and TribalEyes just stuck, and here we are, really.
Here we are, still in the pandemic.
But I will tell you one thing that really stood out.
Mm-hmm.
When we started having Zoom meetings. So I had 2 glasses, one average size and one big one. The average size one I would wear to work and then wash it when I come back to sanitize myself or desanitize. Okay, so I had 2. The small size, medium size one, I would wash and keep. And the big one, I would wear for Zoom meetings because it would cover like my eyebrows. I didn't need to put eyebrows. I didn't need to do, it was big enough to cover all that. And each time I wore it for Zoom parties and Zoom meetings, people are like, oh my God, I love your glasses. Oh my God, I love your glasses. So that's really the story of TribalEyes.
That's so awesome. And I think so I call it COVID couture. Like this is I have always loved glasses.
I could tell.
But really, it was one of those things where as a kid, I didn't need them, but it's like, ooh, you wear glasses. And then when I had to wear them, right, I did not have fashionable eyeglasses when they were prescription. Now that I no longer need them, it's kind of like one of those things that I've rediscovered. So I've always believed in accentuating one part of your body.
Yeah.
Whether it's your lips or your ears or whatever it is, always accentuate them. So my eyes have always been something that I have loved to accentuate. And so I used to be lippy and lashes were my thing. Great pair of lashes and a little lip, and you were good to go.
Yeah,
woman. But now it's kind of like, I don't know, glasses, lashes, and lip for me. Even more, exactly, which has become even more important because eye protection.
Yeah.
In this COVID times, caring for COVID patients, I always have to have eye protection on. And if I can be cute, if I can have a little COVID couture while doing it, certainly.
I love that.
So eyeglasses have become kind of my thing, both out of necessity as well as fashion. So part necessity, part fashion accessory for me. So was there ever a time when you were launching this that you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, I shouldn't do this, I can't do this? Or what actually kept you going? Because we really are in the middle of a pandemic. You see a lot of businesses, particularly restaurant and service industry businesses, actually shuttering rather than thriving. What first part of the question is, was there anything that you felt like held you back? And then how did you get past that and give yourself permission to proceed?
So I think I would say 3 things. It might be more. My 4-year-old is moving around and I'm trying to look at him so he doesn't fall my life sauce. But I would say 4 things. Number 1, I had that time between the 2 jobs, like I told you.
Yeah.
And I was a bit offended by my new employer, who I felt that they were taking my time for granted because I was to start at a certain time and they were not ready. And this was a contract I signed many months ago. And I almost backed out because I moved in the middle of the pandemic because of the job. So I thought there are many times it crossed my mind to not to just email them and say, hey, this pandemic came. I don't think it's a good time to move. I mean, my parents were calling from Africa to say, why are you moving in a pandemic? Don't you think you should stay? I'm like, contracts have been signed. You have to show up, right?
Right.
So anyway, that time, I would say I was to start today. The dates that I agreed on based on our contract or whatever many, many months ago. And once they were not ready, the next day I really registered business. I was like, I will not allow people use my time as they want to. I mean, don't take my time for granted. I will use it positively. So my friends laugh at me and say, oh my God, Ona got upset and started a business. We need to annoy her like every day. So that was one. Then, of course, secondly, I'm just a very thorough person and I am a trust but verify. I think as a physician, you work with, as the head of like the medical team, you work with a lot of people and they say, oh yeah, I got this. Oh, I did this. Oh, I ordered that. But you don't check. And it's when you don't check that catastrophic things happen, right? So for me, I really wanted to be able to see where my products were being made. But I had to give up that part. I had to trust the people, the manufacturers, really. I had to trust them. So I think that was another point where I thought maybe I should wait till after the pandemic. Oh, it's going to end soon. And then after a while, I was like, no, just do it. Just do it. So that's number two. Number three really was my first shipment out. So I did like a soft sale to a couple of people. And I knew that I had created a good product. Like I had the glasses in a case and I had the logo on the case. And then I was just going to bounce to FedEx and say, hey, I had done my research. I mean, I did a decent amount of research. I do research ordinarily, like I have that background. So if I was going to buy toothbrush, I would check reviews. That's research. So I really do my research. So anyway, I did.
Now that's research.
But time to ship, I was in FedEx and I assumed that FedEx will have a box the size of my glasses to ship it nicely off. And I got there and I said, oh no, the only box that this will go in is the phone box, the cell phone box. And it's like $8 or $10. I'm like, what? $10 for the box? So this was me. I had the product. I mean, it was good and ready to go, but I realized that I needed to put it in a nice box, so I didn't have a box.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my goodness. This was me in like FedEx. It was raining, I think. I was like, Ona, what were you thinking? Did you really think that you were going to make a product and sell? Like, you're so dumb. That's how I felt. And then the guy at FedEx, people speak the truth, and God will put angels in places for you. The FedEx guy told me,
what?
I'll never forget him. I've never met this guy before. I don't know him. He doesn't know me. Even in my confused states, trying to figure out the best way, he said, you're going to do very well.
Oh, wow.
I'm serious. And I'm like, I had to say, like, why did you say that? Like, just the way I'm saying it right now, like, why? Like, do me.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, no, he can tell that I'm being very detailed and trying to ensure that my products get to the place that they should be. But he said it even in a deeper way. And I felt a spiritual bond and I was cold. Mm-hmm. But he gave me the push. I was still going to ship it anyway because, they were ready to go. I told people I was shipping them. What was I going to do, right? But that was something for me. That was very big.
Yeah.
So I shipped it in like the big FedEx box and I stuffed it with like brown paper. Oh my God, it was horrible. I was so embarrassed because I'm very into.
Wasn't it black? It was black paper.
No, yours, it was even, that was even, no, there was more. The first set I shipped brown. It was horrible. How could I do that? But I'm saying this was really a push for me and I sent it off. And one of the very first persons who is dear to me who unboxed it or shared it didn't say, oh my God, like, oh, why did it come in this kind of box? She unboxed it and just talked about how amazing it was, and that sold it for me. The fourth, I would say, really, I have a book. I'm going to show you the book. The book is quite...
In the Company of Women, yes.
You need to get this book, everybody. Grace Bonnie. I've been reading this book for about 2 or 3 years. Because the book talks about women in different fields. Artists, tattoo artists, graphic designers, chef designers. And they talk about their fears. And they're almost all entrepreneurs. And they just share their experiences in the book. So for me, over the years, I think I've just tried to find meaning in life and understand that as long as you put one foot in front of the other, you will keep moving. And that's all that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that in terms of it. That's sometimes all you can do.
Yeah.
Particularly, I think that's one of the lessons, one of the great lessons that we have all been reminded of, particularly in these COVID times. It's like sometimes all you can do is put one foot in front of the other. In this age where we just passed Thanksgiving yesterday, where a lot of people that both you and I know celebrated their first holiday without that loved one.
Yeah.
That was at the Thanksgiving table last year. And so putting one foot in front of the other is one of the things that a lot of us are sticking to, are holding on to.
Yeah.
In addition to those words of life, when people like actually breathe encouragement into us, like your person at FedEx who said, you're going to do very well. Oftentimes those come at the moments when we need them absolutely the most. Whether it's something as big as trying to figure out how you're going to ship your baby, this new product that you have, or just something small as giving yourself as a woman the courage to say yes to yourself. Those small things that come along that actually turn out to be big things. Those times where people plant seeds in our life and they simply just either keep us going or encourage us to do more, to do better, to get to that next level. Just simply that thing that gives us the courage to say yes to ourselves.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been the biggest lesson that you've learned, particularly with launching? Like I said, at the height of a pandemic, you launched this product and you shared your creative gifts with us. So what's been the biggest lesson?
I think it's really that we all have talent and don't wait for anyone to give you the permission to share it. Just do it.
Absolutely. Just do it, huh?
Yeah.
So, you're like Nike, just do it.
Just do it. What it was.
Exactly. Really, besides you getting a little bit annoyed with your employer, right? You're like, I'm just going to do this. So in terms of just doing it, right? Like one of the things that you can tell this is something that you were meant for. I always say that the universe always makes room for this, right? And you can tell that this is really something that you were meant for because you launched in the summer of 2020 and you already have good news in terms of this product and where it's being featured, correct?
Yes.
So what do we get? Where are we getting ready to see TribalEyes in December 2020?
In December, I would say when you think of the hottest guys, when you think of December 2020, the hottest guys, if you look for the hottest guys and where they're featured, where would you go to? That's all I will say.
I like it. I like it. So are we not allowed to talk about where else around the world and which features where we're going to, because Lil Birdie told me that we're going to see TribalEyes across the pond.
Yes, it has actually gone across the pond already.
And where is that?
In England, in London. So we were featured in Vanity Fair London, UK, the December edition, which was released November 13th. And they actually want us they sourced us. And honestly, I'm still blown away. And they want us in 3 months consecutively. So I've been doing photo shoots just to get fresh pictures sent to them. But yes, Condé Nast is a publishing company, and Condé Nast has so many magazines from Vogue to Vanity Fair to Glamour to GQ to Wire to Traveler, so many. So anyway, they want us to be in their magazines for 3 months. So the first one is out, and then the others will come consecutively. But yeah, then the hot guy one.
The hot guy one. It's like
next week, I promise. next week.
Okay, well, we can't wait. Well, okay, so those of you that are tuned in tonight and those of you catching the replay in the Soul Revival podcast, you heard it here first that TribalEyes was featured in Vanity Fair UK, and OCC was on the cover of that, correct?
Oh, yeah, that was like amazing. Like, so cool.
So you've been featured in Vanity Fair UK. You have consecutive features coming up. If you could, and next week, we also have where you would see the hottest guys. Like, I have an idea. I want you all to be on the lookout for where you would find the hottest guys, in which mag you would find the hottest guys. Now, if you could have your dream team, your top 5 of faces that TribalEyes would grace, who's on your hit list right now?
Oh my God, don't ask.
Put it out there. You have to put these things out in the universe.
You have to.
With the way you have just rocketed, you have skyrocketed since summer 2020 to the December issue of Vanity Fair UK. I don't want to say just because you got upset and you were like, I'm registering my company today. But honestly, you had the courage to say yes to yourself. You gave yourself that push. You skyrocketed with this product. Put it out in the universe, because I tell you, I guarantee out of the 5 names you're about to name right now, in 3 months, one of them will be wearing TribalEyes. I guarantee you it. So,
oh my God.
Top 5, go.
Oprah Winfrey, of course.
Hey.
I mean, I'm telling you, Oprah, I have looked at Oprah's glasses and been like, who makes these glasses? I mean, I've gone searching because she wears like the best glasses. And I want to know.
She would be at the absolute top of my list as well.
So
okay.
Oprah is number
Oprah, hi.
Hey.
See what's waiting for you.
Oh my God, you're so funny. I'm having such a good time.
Not too late to be one of Oprah's favorite things. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Oprah's favorite things. Okay, that's 1. 2.
Okay, 2. Of course, Kamala. I don't think she wears glasses though.
See, but that's the thing. If you can, that's the greatest thing with a product, right? Is to convince a person or an entire market, like from person to person, that you have a product that they didn't know they needed. So Kamala is 2. Who's 2?
Number 3 will be Naomi Campbell.
Okay.
I love Naomi because she has taken the continent close to her heart. She's not like African, but I mean, she's either in Nigeria wearing Nigerian clothes or singing Nigerian music. And it's not just Nigeria, it's just this humanitarian fight that she's been fighting. So she's someone I like a lot, actually. So I would love her to, wear my glasses.
Okay, cool.
She needs to do an unboxing. Naomi Campbell.
That would be something else.
I'll just wear them.
Exactly. Okay, number 4.
Number 4 is Amal Clooney. I love Amal. I love Amal Clooney, not just because I'm surrounded by lawyers. My husband's father is a professor of law, and his sister did a master's in law in Oxford. I mean, it's not just that, but I think that when I look at Amal, George Clooney used to be like the hottest guy ever.
Right.
His wife
has to be like people of the year.
Sorry?
How many? People of the year comes to mind amongst all the other stuff that he has done throughout his career.
I know, but his wife came and you just see that there's nothing like intellectual celebrity status. It's the best. I mean, she's fighting international criminal cases at The Hague in Netherlands. That's like top shot. Not Hollywood.
Exactly.
So I think for me, I'm really enamored by just how she carries herself and how she conducts herself and the kind of work that she does. I love her. I really, really want to meet her.
I think she maintains an identity and an essence that is completely separate from George Clooney. So like when you say Amal Clooney, I don't even, she's a woman. She's her own entity unto herself. I don't even think of George.
Yeah, it's not like
when you say her name.
Husband. It's not like Amal Clooney's husband. It's not really like Judge Clooney's wife anymore.
Exactly. Honestly, I don't think of her husband when you say that name.
And because he married her, I respect him a lot because she's like, as far as I'm concerned, she's like the coolest thing in his life. I really like her. And I think I will run into her. I've told my husband.
What did I say? Within 3 months, somewhere on this top 5 list. Okay, you have one. You have one more to go.
One more will be I met the Ethiopian president Sale Work. I'm probably not pronouncing her name properly, but Her Excellency Sale Work. I met her at one of the UN General Assemblies that I attended, the one of last year actually in New York, and it was just. It does seem like her role is mostly ceremonial, but I think that it's really what she represents, that women can hold such positions and aspire for greatness. So I would like for her to wear my glasses, yes. That's it.
Top 5 hit list. You said, and I can't remember so Her Excellency Sally Ward Zood. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pronounce that, so I just left them.
Okay.
Apologies, yeah.
Yes, Amal Clooney, Naomi Campbell, Oprah. Like I said, within 3 months, I kid you not, one of the 5 that you just mentioned will be wearing TribalEyes.
Amen.
Sure. So, like I said, I am so incredibly proud of you, of the decisions that you've made. I think you've been incredibly strategic with your brand, and not only the fact that you launched in the middle of a pandemic as being impressive, because I think that a lot of people would have probably made a different choice, right? When they're thinking about people and their discretionary income and whether that it's not entirely expanding for a lot of people during this. And so to take that risk, to have the courage to say yes to yourself is completely impressive to me, what the Soul Revival is all about. And I am so honored to have you as a guest on the podcast tonight. So a lot of people are wondering, well, where can I actually get these wonderful pair of glasses? Somebody in the comments actually says that I can't see who they are, but she just got the Sonal pair. I have my eye on that pair as well. And what's funny is when you contacted me and said, okay, I'm launching these eyeglasses, and I was like, where? And then you showed me a few pairs, and I was like, all of them. Give me
I remember.
Give me every single last one of them. So one by one, I've just been, okay, now I'm going to get this pair, and now I'm going to get this pair. So when you guys see me in my eyeglasses and you're like, oh, okay, well, where do you get them? Here you go. They're TribalEyes. So where can people buy these glasses?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much. I am honored to be on your show today, not just because we're both physicians, but we're mothers and we have a bond because of our heritage, and we're proud to show it, and we are colorful, and we're not ashamed of it. So I think that for me, that's something I love a lot about you. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first official interview.
Okay.
So when CNN calls or BBC or whoever.
Hello. She started on the Soul Revival podcast.
Let's know that it started here, right? So I'm so happy that I came on here. I'm comfortable. My husband is like, I was initially wearing like a dashiki top. And I was like, it's Yemi Seal. I can't be looking. And Nigerians, how we behave, we're so rude. We're always dressed up. So I was like, if my father sees it somewhere now, I'll be like, what do you think? What do you mean by that? So anyway, I decided to wear still African fabric, but something a little, shiny.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
So thank you.
I actually think that was Ankara that you had on.
You say?
I actually thought that was Ankara that you had on.
Ankara, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I said it's still Ankara, but it's glammed up with like stones, and we can be glam too. We can make beautiful stuff.
Absolutely.
So yes, www.tribaleyesshop.com. That's the best place to order. Black Friday is on. And because we're a small business, we're trying to not get overwhelmed. So order early. We will not restock till the next year because the logistics. We will rather like meet up with demands and ensure that people get their glasses by a certain time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, up to $100 off on the website. I mean, today I was discussing possible franchise. I mean, it's still young. I'm still thinking about a lot of stuff, but someone was like, oh my God, I want to ensure that I have it in this country. I want to be the one selling it. I'm like, okay, let me talk to the lawyers and I'll get back to you. But that's something that happened today. So people do love them. I put a lot of thought into them. They're colorful. They're well made. I mean, I've had mine for a year, so I tested it really before selling to people. And I hope you have a lot of fun wearing them as well.
Oh, I mean, I have the most fun wearing them. Like I said, at the hospital, I get a lot of questions just on the very few times that I have actually taken the time to reveal these beauties. And they're like, oh my goodness, Dr. Utuama, those are so fabulous. Where did you get them? And I send them right to your site. So absolutely, you guys can see that in the banner down below, www.tribaleyesshop.com. And one of the things that I also wanted to ask you is, so before you launching your eye brand, what was your favorite accessory? I think every woman should have one. What
was my favorite accessory? I would say shoes.
Shoes. I have seen your shoe collection. It is quite impressive.
Thank you. I mean, a woman must have good shoes. Period.
Absolutely. Now, was that like who actually said that first though? Was that Chanel or was that like Louboutin? Who said that?
I will give it to Chanel.
I think so. I feel like that's a Chanel.
I have these actually. Like I'm like I need to take a picture of them. I just got them in the mail. These are Enrico's.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So we really shouldn't be in the business of hyping another brand while we're sitting here talking about your beautiful brand. But those are some absolutely incredible shoes. There are a lot of people in the Soul Revival community that already know about Enrico's because they custom fit you.
Yeah, I mean they're like on the floor, and I'm like, I need to try them and take pictures. That's why I talked about them.
Oh my gosh. I'm super jealous. I keep saying, okay, that's going to be one of my gifts to myself. I said that in September. I said it in October, and now I'm saying it again in November, that I am going to get myself a custom-made, custom-fitted pair of shoes.
So it just makes you feel special, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. A great pair of shoes matched with a beautiful pair of eyeglasses.
I know, like...
Every woman should have at least those two accessories. Yeah. Again, thank you so very much for joining me on the podcast tonight. I appreciate you dropping in, and this is the Soul Revival Podcast. For those of you that want to continue the conversation, tune into the Soul Revival Circle. You catch the replay on the Soul Revival Podcast on Spotify, Amazon, as well as Apple. And we just got a comment that said that they want a pair, but they need prescription eyeglasses. So do you have plans to be able to, for people to incorporate their prescription, or are you kind of just, you can get the frames from me and then you take them to your favorite optometrist and they can pop in the prescription for you?
For now, that's what most people have done, and they've had no challenges doing that. The glasses are tough. They take the lenses, and I've had people say, oh, my Chanel couldn't take this, blah, 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 but they took the glasses and there was no problem. Prescription, we plan to begin prescription next year. I don't think it will be the first quarter of next year just because of the logistics. And I think because I'm a physician, I really want to go and see where my lenses are being made. So I don't know, with the pandemic, I don't know when I can travel. I mean, most of my glasses come from Hong Kong, China, and then I have a line in Japan that's been made in Japan. So it will involve a lot of travel to figure out what's going on with the lenses. So to answer the question, for now, most people take their glasses to their favorite optician or optometrist to pop lenses in. And they can take the lenses. Of course, people have to be cautious, whoever is putting the lenses in them. But I've had people really do them and they were so impressed because they took it to the eyewear shop and they're like, oh my God, we want these glasses.
Absolutely. So now you have optometrist shops actually calling for your glasses as well. I only see big things coming up for you. I'm so excited to see next week where TribalEyes lands. I'm looking forward to seeing the features in Vanity UK as well as worldwide, and certainly looking at you as both a physician, mom, entrepreneur, public health expert, what your next move is with TribalEyes. So again, thank you for joining me on the podcast tonight. This is the Soul Revival Podcast. Join us over in the Soul Revival Circle and catch the replay on Spotify, Amazon.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.